I am finally getting around to reviewing one of the products from a brand that has truly shaken up the beauty game. And of course, I'm talking about Fenty Beauty. So if you want to see my full thoughts on this particular product, stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. To all my new subscribers, welcome. All my new viewers, of course, welcome too. And to my old subscribers, thanks for your continued support and I hope you enjoyed this video. So a few weeks ago, I did a first impressions video on a product that literally shook up the beauty world. And that particular brand is Fenty Beauty. I mean, I remember hearing about Rihanna saying that she's going to come out with this beauty line probably about 2 years ago or something like that. And I was interested, you know, let me see what Rihanna could bring out. And by the time the promo pictures started coming out and she said that she was going to bring out 40 shades of foundation, like, my interest was piqued, and clearly everybody else's interest was piqued, because that launch, I think she launched on September 9th, and she did a full launch online, exclusive to Sephora stores, and also in 17 other countries. By the time launch day came around, folks were like livid. Folks woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning here in New York to go online to order this product that was going to be a game changer. I did not go online. I just ended up going to the Sephora store early Friday morning in Times Square, and anybody that was in that store was at the Fenty Beauty counter. I mean, folks were excited, the artists were excited. I mean, Rihanna really brought it and kicked it up another level in this beauty game. It's 2017, and you know, people of color, especially darker skinned women who have differing undertones, it's still very difficult to find a wide variety of products that can suit our skin tones. Most companies don't have 40 shades of foundation. A lot of companies, while they may have a lot of shades, maybe 20 shades, if you actually look at the shade selection, there are a lot of shades in the light to light medium range, and then there are just a handful of shades in the medium dark to dark range. So I mean, there's a lot of work to be done in this industry, but I'm not going to go off on that tangent today. I am going to finally do my full review on the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. Comes in this box. I did a first impressions with 2 shades that I picked up as samples from Sephora, and those shades were $470 and $480. But on further review, those were actually too dark, and I have never really had that chance to say that a foundation is too dark for me. I am dark, I am not the darkest out there, but I'm certainly on the darker end of the spectrum, and that rarely ever happens. Companies rarely ever make foundations up to even my shade. So for me to go into a situation and find out that the foundation was too dark for me is kind of brilliant. Anyway, I'm going to give you a few things from what Rihanna says on her own website, on her own Fenty Beauty website, as well as the Sephora website. So Rihanna decided that she wanted to bring out a collection or a line that included everyone, that was very inclusive, and it didn't matter who you are or what you believed in, you would be included in this line, which is something that I really like to hear about. So she has 40 shades, and if you actually look at her shade selection, they are very well distributed. You have a lot of light shades, a lot of medium tone shades, a lot of dark shades as well too, dark and very dark shades as well too. So basically, Rihanna promises that this product is going to be the ultimate photo filter. This is a complexion collection. I know I've heard a lot of people complaining that this initial part of the collection, oh, there are no eyeshadows and there are no lipsticks and blah blah blah, but I think really Rihanna wanted to focus on the complexion. I think she took that from what she likes to do, because a lot of times you see Rihanna in public, her skin always looks great, and she may or may not do anything much with her eyes or with her lips. Of course, yes, she'll show up with like a bold lip sometimes or cat eye sometimes, but I think she really wanted to, for this initial launch, to focus on complexion. So most of the products are related to the complexion, and that's why there's only one lip product in this first part. Now we found out that she's going to be actually bringing out new products on October 13th, which I think is Friday the 13th. She's going to be bringing out an eyeshadow palette and lip colors and everything else that other people were complaining that you know, kvetching that they wanted to have. But I was thoroughly impressed with her launch. I mean, I waxed about it in my last video, but trust, this hype is real. This is not just some kind of mama guy that people, oh, it's because it's Rihanna, people like it. No, she literally shook up the game with high quality, well thought out products, and that is very impressive. I was reading an article, I think it was in Forbes magazine, that was saying that she is due to sell more product by the end of the year than Kim Kardashian has sold and Kylie Jenner has sold. That's pretty impressive because they have some incredible numbers, sales numbers to boast about. So Rihanna really shook things up, and it was so refreshing to see women of color excited about a makeup line. And I know it's not the most important thing, but you know, sometimes you just need that little pick-me-up or that little something that inspires you, and that was certainly the case for me. I felt myself being genuinely excited about this line and about beauty in general. So well done, Rihanna, well done. So according to Sephora, actually, there are 40 shades, and this is suitable for all skin types in terms of whether you're oily, whether you're dry, whether you have combination skin, whether you have sensitive skin as well. So this covers the whole spectrum of skin types, and it is listed as a medium to full coverage product. And the finish is a soft matte finish, long wear foundation with a buildable medium to full coverage in a boundary breaking range of shades. There's also, in this particular foundation, it is also oil free, and it's made with climate adaptive technology that is resistant to sweat and humidity and won't clog pores. Anyway, she basically brought out an all-purpose skin-like foundation. I mean, from this video you can tell that I'm already like in love with this foundation, and I'm very picky about the foundations that I choose to wear. So I think I've rambled enough about this particular product. I am going to get down into the details. So I am only going to review the foundation at this time. I haven't picked up any of the other products, including the primer. Those things will come in later videos. I just really wanted to get my full review on this product. Before you put on foundation, it is imperative that you prep your skin. I have very dry skin, and regardless of what I put on top of my skin, I have to prep my skin very well. I have very dry skin, especially in the area on my cheekbones and around my mouth, and my skin is so dry that I have a lot of hyperpigmentation, as you can see, in my chin area. So if you find that if I'm going to wear foundation, I definitely want to cover this area, and sometimes, or most of the time, I actually only put foundation on this part of the skin, and then I might put a little bit along my lower lash line just to clean that area up a little bit. But prepping the skin is the key foundation to have a good makeup application. So I like to use very thin layers of hydrating products, going from the very thinnest and the lightest, and then slowly building up my hydration. So I have all my hydrating products on right now, as well as my sunscreen. The sunscreen that I'm wearing is from Glossier. I just did a review on that particular product, so I'm going to put that in the description bar, the description bar below. above, sorry, and below, so definitely check that one out. And since you're checking that out, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and also subscribe to my email newsletter. All the links and the details will be below. So I ended up going to Sephora, initially getting samples of this product. I will highly recommend, if you have the ability to, get samples of this product. I think the other thing that I'm really impressed about Rihanna and her line is that this particular line really paid attention to the undertones that people have. I often find that when people do foundations for darker skin, they think that all of us are very red. So a lot of the dark skin foundations have this very strong red undertone to them, and not all of us are that red. I am more neutral with slight red undertones, especially when my skin gets a little bit darker. There are a lot of darker skinned women who have yellow undertones, they have green undertones, they have more pink undertones, blue undertones, and that goes for everybody else in the entire spectrum. So that is one thing that I was really impressed with this line. The choice of undertone options are much greater than most other brands that I can see. So that played into the reason why I had to reevaluate what my actual foundation color was. So definitely check out the undertones. She has her undertones broken up into 3 main categories: warm, cool, and neutral. And there are even nuances within that, which is something that I love. And when I tell you about my shade, you'll see what I'm talking about. So definitely check that out. Another thing that they highly recommend is to use thin layers of this product and apply it to the skin, and then wait a couple minutes, like maybe a minute or two, to let the product dry down so you can actually see what the real color of the foundation is. A lot of people have been saying, oh, this product oxidizes, it oxidizes. The product doesn't actually oxidize within the first minute or two. What you're seeing is not oxidation, and this was actually mentioned by the Sephora team and the team at Fenty Beauty. What is happening is that products and materials look different when they're wet to when they're dry, and you could even test it out. If you take a black cloth, you throw water on it, the intensity of the blackness is different when it's wet as to when it's dry. It hasn't had time to oxidize yet. So this product is not oxidizing when you first put it on. It does appear to be a different color. Now, I'm not going to say that it doesn't oxidize ever. I personally have not experienced oxidation like maybe an hour or two afterwards, because I don't have oily skin. And so the color that I get when I first put it on is the color that it stays throughout the duration of wearing it. So check that out. So definitely try to get samples if you can. If you can't get samples, I would suggest picking up 2 or 3 different shades when you order it, and keep your receipt. Check out the return policy from where you buy it from. I'm not sure where they are being sold. I think there's a place called Harvey's, I think it is, in the UK, that is exclusive to, don't quote me on that name, it's exclusive to Sephora in the US. And of course you can get all the items on the Fenty Beauty website. So it's not oxidation that is happening, it's just that when the product dries down on the skin, you can actually get to see its true color. So I ended up picking up shade 440. So it says 440, so there's a little swatch of the color on the top, and it comes in really sleek packaging that I love. This looks like a kind of a spray painted, a graffiti style packaging on the box. Really wonderful design to the actual outer packaging. So let's dig into this product. So let's see if I can open this. And this is what it looks like. Comes in a, I think this is glass. It looks like a glass bottle that is frosted with a white cap with Fenty Beauty on the back, on the front, and then just the directions to shake well on the back. And of course it lists the shade on the bottom, and my shade is 440. it has a pump. A lot of companies still in this day, they don't give you pumps with your liquid foundations. A pump is a must-have. So kudos to Rihanna for that. The cap is white, but I feel as if it has a very, very slight pinkish tone to the cap. It looks white, but it doesn't look like stark white. There's a kind, it reminds me like of the inside of a seashell kind of thing. So first rule, shake it up. You need to make sure that the pigments are well distributed within the formula. So definitely shake it up very, very well. Rihanna brought out a sponge and a synthetic brush with this collection as well. I don't have either of those products. I am going to show you what it looks like using a beauty blender and using a brush from Real Techniques, and maybe also a duo fiber brush if I have enough time. So this is, so I'm just shaking it up very well, and I'm going to have close-up pictures and details on the blog as well too. Start off with very little. I've watched a lot of videos and reviews on this particular brand, on this particular product, and I see people like piling on. They'll put on like 4 pumps of product. Start small. This foundation, even though it is buildable, I think what Rihanna was trying to get at is that she wanted it to look like skin. And I know it's very popular right now for people to put on full coverage, obliterating makeup on the skin, where if you see them in person, they're very obviously wearing a lot of foundation. And that's not what, I don't think that's what she was aiming to go. She just wanted you to look the best version of yourself. Really like flawless but effortless. Kind of a carefree look, but you know you put in a little bit of effort into your look. So I know a lot of people complain that it wasn't full coverage enough. I think this foundation is just for people who don't want that cake face, and I'm definitely one of those people. So I appreciate the fact that this foundation is a kind of a girl on the go kind of foundation. It's soft matte, and I would suggest that if you have very dry skin that's very flaky, that you exfoliate your skin with a very mild AHA to get rid of those flakes. Because it is a matte formula, it will catch on your flakes, but that's all part of your skin prep. So let me just put out a little pump of this. So this is 1 pump, and it's a very liquidy, watery texture. As you can see, it's running down my hand, and yeah. Now it looks as if it's going to be a little bit light for me, and when the lady put it on me, I was like, that might be a little bit light. But you know what? I've been testing out this sample of it and posting on Instagram, and it actually works really very well. I'm going to start off in the areas that I need coverage the most, and that's my chin area. And also, this dries down very quickly. So don't put it all over your face and then think it's going to stay there. I am going to blend this out with a damp beauty blender. It's done a really good job in covering my hyperpigmentation, not totally covering it, but just kind of toning down the difference between that and the rest of my skin. And as you can see, that blends right in. So on this half of my face, I'm going to put this product using the beauty blender. And I love it. It just melts into the skin. Don't forget to bring it down to your neck area. It just melts into the skin, and it dries very, very, very quickly. So work quickly and work in sections. But you see, it gives me the kind of coverage that I like. I am really into the just barely there. People can't really tell if it's my skin or not. My lighting has now changed because I'm trying to use daylight. So the sun has gone behind clouds and now it's back. So look at that. My hyperpigmentation is significantly reduced. I'm just going to use the rest of this. I really like using a beauty blender to blend my foundation. And she even recommends that. And one of her key beauty artists is Priscilla Ono. If you don't follow her on Instagram, she's really, really good. She actually applies the foundation with a brush, goes in afterwards with a sponge to kind of smooth it out. So that's what it looks like with using the sponge. I'm going to put on another pump. Another small pump. And I'm going to use the Real Techniques brush to kind of put that on the skin as well too. Now if you want a lighter finish, a lighter amount of coverage, use a damp sponge. If you want heavier coverage, use a dense brush like this brush. And so that's why I really prefer using a beauty blender to put on my foundation, because I'm really into the lighter coverage. It's definitely a medium coverage. It definitely leaves a soft matte finish. It doesn't feel dry at all on the skin. It doesn't feel as if I have anything on my skin at all. It feels very weightless. And I have been using this, I've been testing this out for a few weeks now. I've gone to the gym. It's not transfer proof, but I don't find that it melted while I went to the gym and while I exercised. I found that it stood very well to the heat and humidity, because it's still warm enough here in New York where I was able to test it out. I think I could even wear this during the colder months because it's not too dry. And I definitely am more used to wearing foundations that have more of a dewy finish. And even though this is a more matte finish, it's not super matte. So there's still a sheen, a very, very light sheen. It's not even a sheen. It's just not super matte on my skin. So it doesn't look powdery or cakey on my skin. It's super lightweight. It blends in really well, but you have to be very, very, very quick. And let me see what else. I'm just going to apply a little bit more. I'm using very small amounts on my skin because I like to keep it very natural. And I'm going to go in with my Duo Fiber brush from MAC and just go into the areas, touch up little areas. And then blend that out. So as you can see, it works very well with brushes, with synthetic brushes and duo fiber brushes as well. It works really well with sponges, and it actually works really well with fingers. When I first tried this out, I used my fingers, which is my #1 preferred method of applying foundation, and it worked really well. So that's it. This product is a must-have. It's probably one of the better products in the entire collection. I'm also eyeing those Killawatt highlighters and also some of the beauty sticks, the match sticks that she has as well. I will be picking those up in the next few weeks. So let me know if you want to see a review on those. Highly recommend this brand. The hype is real. You're not getting Mama Guy at this time. Get this product. Test it out, get samples if you can. And Rihanna, well done, girl. Well done. So anyway, that's it. I hope you got to see I am 440, and look at that. Looks really good on the skin. Get this product at Sephora. All the details will be in a blog post below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and to my email newsletter. Again, details down below. And I will be coming up with more videos related to Fenty Beauty soon. I hope you enjoyed it. Laters. So there are a few things that I forgot to tell you. I picked up shade 440, which is described for deep skin with cool red undertones. So I do have slight redness in my skin, but my skin is more cool. It doesn't have that warmth, especially at this time of year. So that's very interesting. If you look at the other descriptions, 450 is deep skin with warm undertones, and 430 is deep skin with neutral undertones and subtle red tones. So that's what I was talking about when I say that she basically catered for people with all different types of undertones. And the last thing that I forgot to mention were the last few things. They've been having a there's been a mad rush on this foundation. They are constantly out of stock. So if you can't get your shade right now, my best advice is to sign up for email notifications from both Sephora and from the Fenty Beauty site. And as soon as they come back online, you'll get that email notification and order it. I ordered this last week and my shade is already out of stock again. They have been refilling this constantly. I've been to a number of Sephora stores and the darkest shades are constantly out of stock. I actually haven't seen them in stock since the day of the launch. So it's easier to find the product online than it is to find it in the store if you're looking for the darker shades, from the shades from about $350 up. There are a lot of also the 200 shades have sold out as well too, and a couple of the very lightest shades. But there's been a mad rush on the products in the darker end of the spectrum. And you know, you make it, you will buy it kind of thing, you know. And the last thing I forgot to mention is that I don't powder this, so I have not used any setting powders because that would make my skin too dry. I would recommend, if you are very oily, to also, in terms of in addition to prepping the skin, applying just a touch of powder to your very oiliest areas. So I've been able to go all day and didn't have any problems with oil breaking through on me. It stood up to rigorous gym workouts outdoors, and it still looked really good on the skin. I've been able to, you know, put that in your mind that it's a really, really good coverage, good functioning, well calibrated foundation. And she's supposed to be bringing out more shades of foundation. So yeah, that's it this time. I really go on this time. Laters.